Okay, we are doing the thing. We're doing the thing. We're doing the thing. We're gonna get it up on the phone so I can see the thing. And let's go here. It's been a couple days. How many days has it been? Well, a couple days since I've been live. I've been feeling just kind of like negative, like very self-critical, very self-critical. Like, and it's good to feel emotions, right? I don't think there's any such thing as a bad emotion by any chance or any sense or whatever. And I'm just feeling this overwhelming, just like not really anxiety, but just like a negative kind of feel, and I've been getting like hard on myself because if I feel this negative emotion, I'm just like, yeah, yeah. But I'm trying to work through it, right? And um, and I feel better now. It was hard when I got back home from work. I walked outside and I talked out loud to try to work through it, right? And I'm kind of it's just silly stuff that I get in my head about, and I think I'm doing a better job at just working through those problems and getting to a point where I can self regulate and not like get into a negative spiral so much. So it's that helped. So I'm feeling better now, and I got my guitar, so we'll just play some Metallica until someone comes up. Hello, 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 welcome in. And then it goes like this. Something like that. Whoa, someone's coming up. All right. Here we go. Whoa, what is this? I don't know what this is. What am I
What's
doing?
up, Brody? Do you remember me, Brody?
I don't know. What is this?
We were speaking on your
Oh, I
live.
do remember you. Yes, you came in and you were helping talk to that other lady that
Yes,
I
yes,
do remember
that's
you.
me.
I haven't been on very much since. So, what is this thing?
Oh, okay.
What's going
So
on?
I never go live. It's not something I do, but I've been thinking of doing or I've been wishing somebody would do this for a while, so it's kind of like wish somebody else would do it. Let me go ahead and do it.
Okay, what is this? I never seen a screen like this on my TikTok. So you
um
oh go ahead.
I just there's a lot of debates on TikTok. You've seen that, right?
Of course, I follow some people that do
Yeah.
TikToks debates.
And those are cool, you know what I'm saying? But I would really love to see a formal debate. I was on debate team back in my middle school days,
Nice.
and I remember the stages of a debate, and so I didn't remember them this well. I had AI make this, but this is correct. These are
I
the stages of a debate, and I just want to see if there's anybody out there or any people out there who would like to actually debate something in a formal way versus just screaming at each other.
right.
And so when I saw that you were live, I was like, that's cool because this guy doesn't do any rage baiting.
I try not to.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would even do if that was a thing, right? But yeah, this is interesting. So, like, are you trying to participate in the debates or just be like more of a moderator?
So because I never go live, I'm trying to probably participate at first because I have one viewer right now, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Um, are you willing to debate me? What are you doing? You just kindly accepted my invite. That's what you did.
I did. I look. I don't look. I don't discourage debates. I think it's okay to talk about these things and really get to the bottom of it with being like civilized, right? Like how you're like saying formal debates, like making it not like arguing and like arguments can be good, but like getting to the point where it's like talking over each other, like being really emotional. I think that can get negative sometimes. But I don't know what do you have in mind that like what's something that you stand firm on that
Hmm.
I might not.
I was just trying to think of that for a few moments. Is there anything that I have a really hot take on? And I do have something, but it is a little rage baity, if I may admit.
Okay, let's see what that is. What?
I don't believe in like citizen policing other citizens. Like, sure, citizens arrest, but as far as really concerning yourself with what other people are doing in public and then calling the police on them, I think it's crazy. If you see fire, sure. I've I've reported a fire before, but
Right. So like you're against people like if they see something bad happening them calling into the police. Like what I'm trying to think of situations where that could be good. Like what if someone's breaking into your neighbor's house and
yeah.
uh you're like, "Whoa."
I guess
That
more I'm just against like Karens, just like there's people maybe living their life doing something that you might not, or that might even be illegal, but that doesn't harm. Whoa, I lost a lot of voice right there.
are you okay?
What happened?
You're okay. You're okay.
But something that doesn't harm somebody else. So obviously I want people to take care of others. But here's a really hot take that somebody hated for me. So somebody asked me if somebody's swerving and you're on the interstate, right? You're driving, somebody's swerving on the road. And you think based off of all this swerving, this person's probably drunk, right? He asked me what would I do. I was not thinking that he was checking on how I felt about police. I said what I would do is I would either slow down, that way I don't get into a wreck with that person,
Right.
or if they're going slow enough and there's enough space, I would pass them and just go on about my business. And his response was, well, I would call the police. And
Hmm.
that's debatable because like I get it where that person could hurt somebody, but at the same time you could be getting them into a lot of trouble over a lot of nothing.
Yeah, and I get where you're kind of getting at with that. I don't really have much to say about it though. I don't.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
that's definitely a hot topic I have. It's like, yeah, there might be a drunk driver, but and they might, there's a possibility they could hurt somebody, but
right, right.
snitching on them is crazy in my opinion. And so I'm just here. So I'll let you get
So
back
like,
to your thing.
oh no, so like if you,
Oh,
so if, so sorry if I was misunderstood that. So like if someone is drunk driving, you say like calling the police on them is bad or a good thing.
yeah, I think it's going a step too far.
So if they're drunk, calling the cops is a bit too
Yeah,
far.
yeah, like
So
if you
okay,
truly cared about human life, you could like follow them and make sure that they make it home themselves. And if you do see them like speeding excessively and swerving, yeah, that's deadly behavior.
right.
Um, but if they're just swerving, you know,
Well, I'm trying to think like if like calling the cops, like the cops are gonna take forever to get there. Like by that point,
right?
like where the heck is the guy gonna be
So
at?
you're just snitching to
Right,
snitch, dude.
right. I don't know. Like that probably does happen a bit. So I don't know
Uh,
how often, but I'm sure it has happened. Uh, but I get where you're coming from. Like for some instances, I think it's contextual. Like like based on the situation and because I can see good things from calling the police sometimes on people. Um, but I've been called on the police to like check on me when I was bipolar, but it's understandable why they did that. Um,
Here,
like why?
how about this one? So there's like theft that goes on, right? For example, Ross loves to check your receipt when you're leaving the store. I'm not familiar with the store Ross.
Yeah.
People like this. Yeah, all right, cool. People like to steal out of Ross. Now, let's say I was shopping at Ross. I saw somebody stealing. Security did their job. You know, it might not be to chase them down, but just document who they had with them. Let's say I saw that person's face and then I saw them a few hours later at the Applebee's.
Okay.
Some people in this world we live in would say, I'm going to call the police. I'm going to make sure that they know this. I'm going to get him caught. I'm not. I'm not.
I agree with you. I don't. I think it's just like at that point it's like why what's I don't know. I
Some
don't.
people want to see justice.
Yeah.
And
Maybe so. Maybe so. I can see that. Yeah. I don't know. I've never called the cops on anyone before.
never.
Never. Not once. Not once.
The
I
ironic part of this
I
is I'm a super cop caller.
you are.
Oh, I'll call quick if there's danger.
Okay, so wait, wasn't your premise like one of the premises like don't like citizens shouldn't call the police on other citizens? Wait, what was that premise?
Yeah, like stop trying to be the citizen police force. Let the police do their job. If they don't see it, they didn't see it.
But then if you're calling in, like, what are you doing with this argument?
I've called in for things like I was driving down the interstate. This was a big one for me because even maybe I'm not so hot on it, but like I was driving down the interstate and I saw huge fire and smoke and flames. And
Right.
I've grown up here my whole life, so I know that that's most likely a home on the other side of that wall of this interstate. And I called the police because I had just learned about the bystander effect a few days ago or prior.
What's
And
that?
so I was like, I don't. The bystander effect is where people pass by something that's awful or
Oh.
sad
Mm,
because they feel like the next person's going to handle it. So I was like, you know what? Let me call in on this fire just in case there's somebody being hurt over there. And the dispatcher's response was, okay, we're sending the fire trucks right now and the police. And I was like, no, 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 fire trucks. I just want you to go check that. I was like, maybe it's a bonfire, Miss Dispatcher. Like, I'm not trying to snitch on them. I'm not trying to have them get a fire bill or get a charge for arson.
right.
Just go make sure their house isn't on fire, please. But
Right.
like that's where I should have followed my own advice because I could have just got off at the next exit, went to go check their house and made sure everything was okay. And I would have made it there before the police.
Yeah.
And
See.
then what if they
Well.
just had a
Yeah.
bonfire? Now
See,
they're going to
like.
get in trouble because bonfires aren't allowed. And I called the cops on them.
Oh. Oh. Well, I mean, you were trying your best, and I think you were concerned, and that's valid, to be concerned about something going on that you don't know. I don't know. There's not really a right answer there. Like, you acted into what you thought was the best to do in that situation. So I wouldn't say that's bad. I mean, you can think about it now and reflect on it and be like, well, but like, we can do that with everything, and like, it could get detrimental at some point. So I don't think that's a bad thing, what you did.
Yeah, I don't overthink it. In that very moment, though, I was like, dude, come on. I wasn't trying to get them all up in trouble. Like,
Right, right.
just stop getting people in trouble. There's enough laws, there's enough police officers, and if people get away with something, they get away with something. And if you're mad at that, like, that's what I take issue with.
Yeah. Like, if the people.
You're
Wait,
so
wait.
kind.
You want to say it
Because
again?
I'm saying,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
because I think I'm saying some crazy things, and you're so kind. Um, if somebody gets away with something, if the police didn't catch them, don't try to be that guy.
It depends on what they're doing, though, right? Like, if. Like, I can think about horrific things that someone can do to another person and get away with, and like if you're like looked at it and you're like, what? Like, I don't know.
Okay, but what about like when like those five prisoners escaped that prison and people were literally betting on who would get caught the last? Like nobody cared what their crimes were. Like people were like just like, "Man, yeah, we hope that y'all keep escaped." And I support that. Like stay escaped.
Well, I don't know. I think you know what I have a better understand. Well, not better understanding, but I think what we should do more is to help rehabilitate people in prison in the first place, so they can be more successful getting out of prison, right? Like I think if someone commits a crime, like we can hold them accountable. It depends on like going into your like stance about like calling them in. I think like I said, it's contextual, like depending on what it is. Like if they're just like stealing things.
Yeah.
I've worked at a convenience store before, and someone like this like teenager was like packing a bunch of shit in their coat. I'm like, come on, man. And I didn't say anything. I probably should have, but
Mhm.
I like when it's stealing. I can it's iffy still. But maybe I should have called in. I don't know, but or like at least reported to my manager, but I didn't. It just depends on what's going on. I think for me.
That's cool. I can get with you. You're not just going around fishing. And maybe that's where this is all stemming from for me. So like you reminded me when I was a child, I saw an albino man for the first time.
Oh,
And
okay,
it was really scary to me.
yeah,
Sorry. It was the first time.
that's okay.
And he just so happened to be stealing out of a 7-Eleven.
Yeah,
And I grew up a rule follower and I wanted to say something so bad, but he was so scary that I was scared of what he would do to me. But then I grew up and I was like, dude, he was stealing a sandwich. I'm glad you were scared because let him steal the sandwich.
yeah. I don't. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Steal the sandwich.
Steal
Steal
the
the
sandwich.
sandwich.
Look, I'm not advocating for people to steal. Like I think there's situations where people kind of are forced to in a sense, and I think we should, like I said, take better care of these like places where, or give people more resources to the point where they don't have the option to want to do that in the first place, right? So I'm more on board with like helping and giving resources to people, and helping people rehabilitate and in prison, whatever that might be. But like when it comes to people doing stuff like stealing a sandwich, like you don't know their life, right? And why they're doing that. And why would a person just steal a sandwich just because? Like they have to be hungry. I would assume so at least. So think about it that way. But like I said, don't I'm not advocating for stealing. Like we should still pay for things. But I think sometimes it's just understanding another person and what they're going through, and uh, kind of taking it as it goes. I guess I don't know what I'm trying to say right now. I'm just rambling words. Let me get some water. What am I
That's
doing?
cool.
Where's my water? There's my water. Got my agua.
Yeah, and just I guess real life. That man, I still live in the same city that I grew up in. He's homeless. So that's 15, 20 years later. 20 years later now, I guess. He's still homeless,
Oh,
and
still.
yeah, he probably
Oh,
still steals. Who knows?
yeah. That's tough. That's
So
tough.
definitely could be some better systems in place because yeah, 20 years of homelessness is pretty crazy.
That is that's sad. I wish we could do more. Like I feel like, not to bring up this, but I'm gonna bring it up. Like, who in their right
Hmm.
mind needs to be a trillionaire or a billionaire or a millionaire?
Hmm.
What are we doing? What I just feel like, if I had that much wealth, I would be doing so much more for the
Hmm.
community I was like involved with in the past, and other places, and I got some good ideas. I would help other people I met just randomly, and just like start up different things for them. Um, but like I don't understand why someone can become a trillionaire, and like they can solve so much, they can solve so much,
Hmm.
and they just choose not to. So
Hmm.
um and I can't judge too much because maybe I don't know exactly how it's like to be like that, right? And maybe he has his own views. I'm talking about Elon Musk, if
Does
anyone.
it not take a selfish nature in the first place to be able to acquire $1 trillion?
Right. Like, how does that even, like, uh, I think it's just like a character flaw. But I'd be really curious to talk to him and understand his mind more. Because like I can't look down on him, right? Like he's doing his own thing and he's successful in his own way. Um, I think if I
Yeah,
was
we
him,
sure can't.
I'd be more curious just to talk and be like, yo, what's going on in that mind? Let me understand that. So that's where I kind of
Yeah.
go when it comes to like really wealthy people, because I think villainizing people isn't the right way to go about it, even if it is like accurate in some sense. I think if we see people as humans, like no one's above or below, if we just like view them, and I know there's like that's how we're gonna get changed at that point, right? But I think we can do something. I think we can do something. It's I'm being
I
very
think
vague, but
I think that's nice of you, but I would like to counter that because I think that we can and should villainize people. So I myself was a very all these people who maybe I don't know they fall in all to the same category for me, but maybe others don't. Andrew Tate, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Red Pillars,
right,
um, yeah, that group. I was very, even though I'm a woman, I was very much like that. Basically, the way called it myself was survival of the fittest mindset. Nobody was going to stop me. I was going to tear them down. Predator prey, uh, weakest link, and I'm going to be the strongest. I'm going to be the strong survivalist. Yada yada. Then I had a traumatic event happen to me as a teenager, and like I gained this victim mindset. So that's cool or whatever. But like, no. As somebody who had that me over you mindset, just know I was willing to trample over anybody to get to where I wanted to be until I realized, hey, there's hurt because I became a hurt person. I
right.
was like, hey, there's hurt people out here. They if I trample over them, they were already trampled on. How messed up is that, right? And the only reason I'm in in a position to be able to trample over them is because I have never been trampled on. So that helps humble me.
Mm.
I'm grateful for it. But there are villains out here because they don't think the same as you and me.
Right. No, I get. Well, first of all, thanks for sharing that, and I'm sorry that like the dramatic thing
Oh, it's
happened.
all good.
It's good you can like reflect on that though, and I think that shows
Mm,
obviously a lot of growth, and it's good to reflect and it's good to think about these things, right? So props to you for coming to that understanding. But like I would say this. Do you know who Daryl Davis is?
no, I don't.
He's amazing. I want to talk with him
Oh,
so
yeah.
bad. He is a black man. He's a blues rock and roll pianist. Uh,
Okay.
he talked with Klans members like Ku Klux Klan, and
Mm,
deconverted them, and like they
wow.
literally gave him their robes when they
Wow.
deconverted. So like, look, this guy didn't have to do that, right? He could have villainized these people for like being in this group of just hateful
The same as we
people.
all do.
Right. So it's I think that proves that like good prevails if we just see people as humans and if we connect in such a way. I think kind of the point of like what I'm doing with these lives is like we can align. Like we might disalign and have different like opinions, but like I think me and you for the most part aligned, and we can figure out what we're doing on this earth together and progress as human beings, as the human species. And I think the more we have these kind of like open dialogues about like being vulnerable about our thoughts and whatever that might be, like we can like show it, we can show it like no one's watching. Like, there's one person watching, and maybe that's you. But like we can show
It's
it,
not
and
me.
and we can model this out, and I believe there's like a ripple effect that can happen. Like we start small, right? And like with two people and more people, and we build a community, and we go from there. And there's other phases that I'm getting into my mind, but that's way in the future for me to even say out loud right now. Like I think it's having these conversations that's the first step, right? And I appreciate you for being up and just willing to talk about stuff like this.
Yeah, you too, for sure, for sure. I think it's more that we're just open-minded people. It's not that me and you really see eye to eye, but we can definitely say, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah,
And that's a huge thing that not everybody has, I think. I don't think everybody, I think that's rare.
yeah, but we can make it not rare, and I think we can. I think it's just practicing these dialogues more, right? And I believe that, and it has to be the way because like how else are we gonna progress? It's like we keep reacting, like react, bang. And
Mm,
it's like what the fuck do we do? And
mm.
there's a lot I can talk about, but I believe it's critical to understand our minds, like how we operate within ourselves, with other people, before like this is another topic, but like before we create new technologies too, which is concerning. But that's a different topic. But like I firmly believe that we should definitely try to understand ourselves as much as possible and how we fit into the world with the other people, to progress as human beings.
Yeah, in my education I've learned, and what's so funny about being older is when I tell my younger family members, hey, this is the way it is, they go, but that's not the way it has to be. So I love that from them. But what it is, the way it is, the way I was taught was, or what I've been educated in, is that when two people disagree and they communicate those disagreements with each other, right? They're debating, for lack of a better word. Um, they actually, both people will fall stronger into their own belief sets. So it's been proven in data that most people are closed-minded, um, closed-minded people, that they only form stronger beliefs of their own when
Yeah.
confronted with opposing data.
Right. I think it's how we reach people though, and how we talk to people. Like we can debate, sure, but like if we lead into a debate and if we lead into being defensive, and like combative or like emotional or whatever it might be, I think there's ways like it's kind of like a dance in a way. How we like navigate around. Like if we're gonna dance with this person, like how do we get to a point where like maybe I'd be vulnerable first and share something that resonates with another person for them to be vulnerable, and then we connect, and once we connect we can start talking about whatever that might be, and we can like it's like baby steps to get to a place. I think it's really how we talk to people is critical, and understanding like who, like how they are too, there's stuff I'm still trying to figure out because I remember my case manager said like people are different colors. Like there's like four different colors of people, or I don't know if that's the right way to phrase it. But like some people, like their temperaments or their personalities are like depending on how their personalities like depends on how you can approach them with problems or situations.
Hmm.
I still need to look into that more because I'm not deep into psychology and all these different ways of thinking. But there's ways to go about it, I think, and I think it's possible.
When you go to research that, you're going to have a hard time finding it because when it comes to sociology and the studies they've done on that, there's so many. There's seven types of this people in the world. There's five types of this people in the world. There's four. And I'm not saying like these are like Google, Facebook studies. These are real studies. Like, for example, there's four parenting types.
Okay.
There's, I can't remember, but there's like, I think there's like a personality types, or maybe it's just like there's a personality test and there's many different questions, but yeah, so good luck researching that. It's
If I
gonna,
if I
but
remember
maybe
right.
when you, yeah, when you type in colors, maybe the red, blue, yellow, green has something for colors of people. I haven't heard that one
There was
before,
like
but
gold was one of them, blue another one, and then I don't remember the other two, green or red maybe, I don't know. You
so
talked
red
with
is
it. You talked with it a while ago, but what was that?
red is probably like my sister. Like I can't bring anything to her; she'll scream at me. Is that kind of like
Let's see. Oh, here we go.
cool?
So blue, red, green, and yellow. Whoa. So I don't know if this is the
Sweet.
same. I don't know if this is the same one. Uh, it typically refers to behavioral or personality framework used to understand communication and leadership styles. Okay. It's like blue is analytical, diplomatic, precise, questioning, conventional. Red is competitive, results oriented, strong willed, risk taker, direct. Yellow is expressive, inspiring, trusting, talkative, sociable. Green is patient, steady, systematic, good listener, and caring. And I think people can like be different color, like multiple colors too. But
Oh, okay, good. Because I feel like I'm everything except for green.
yeah, really, you're a good listener.
Appreciate it.
You listened to that other girl that came up, and I was actually struggling to follow along because it took so long, and I didn't want to interrupt her to like ask questions. And I'm really grateful that you were up there because like you gave really good advice too, with them, and I think that was a good thing that happened at the right time.
Yes, amen to that. Yeah, I appreciate. I what was I about to say? Just with her, I was able to follow it because I'm like one of those people too. I'm like, look, you have to understand. There's like eight different details to this. So
Right. Yeah.
I'm
It
like
would
that.
I need to like I think what I need to do better is like if people need like well people just need to talk and I'll hold space for them, and that's why I tried to ask questions like at the like when it was like my turn to talk, because I didn't quite understand what the deal was between like what started it in the first place, right? And like I was like the whole time like I'm trying to become more of a better active listener too, and I think I'm pretty good for the most part, but like sometimes I just don't like always comprehend what people are saying. And like in my head, I was like, when is the advice? Like, when do I need to give advice? When do I need to give advice? It's like, stop it, Brady. Stop. Just listen. And it's one of those things where I'm just like, okay, just trust that you can, give the right advice when you can, right? Um,
Hmm.
so, but yeah, I appreciate you being up during that,
It
and,
was
and, and you gave good advice. So,
it was one of those things too where the first thing she came up, she said like, I'm looking for advice. So you were probably like, it's like when you got it when you read the questions before you go to the passage so that you know what you're looking for. Like you knew the question that you were looking for the answer for, but you were like, where's the answers at? Where do I need to go for
right.
the answer?
And I tend to give better advice to people. Like I think I talked with you about I forgot what it was, but like we connected pretty well
I
like
know,
in
right?
the beginning. And when I connect with people, like I can when I can understand a little bit better to like be genuine about the advice I give. Like when it comes to like just listening to a long story and like not really connecting with the person, like it's hard for me to like really give advice if anything. So it takes me a while to be. I don't want to give bad advice, and I don't want to be disingenuous too. Like I get hard on myself about this. So Brady, it's okay. Okay. So I've been going through. Sorry, I've been going through a critical, like negative thought process the past 2 days, and to get out of that, I tend to be like cognitive and talk my way through it. So if you, I'm trying to
That's
correct my,
good.
I'm trying to correct my negative thoughts in real time. So you might hear it. So sorry about that.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah. So, what I would like to get going with the debate thing is, I wish I, oh, or what I wish I had put on this little thing is that the judging and the decision, step 6, would be done by like the chat, the audience, the viewers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because what I was saying earlier about two people disagreeing are really only going to fall stronger into their own belief sets. That means that I don't expect each other to change their mind. But what I do want to see is who feels like, or what, who has the stronger argument. What do the people think? Who do the people think has the stronger argument? So that's where the win really lies in anyway when you debate, because you're never going to convince, in my opinion, not in yours, but you're never going to convince the other person of something. And so just,
Well, it
let the people
depends.
choose.
It depends. Like I've seen. Like, have you ever seen Parker get a job? He's on TikTok. He's
Of course.
one of the greatest debaters on TikTok. I would say.
I
He's
do not like watching him.
why not?
But please continue. I'll go.
Okay.
I'll say that
Well,
after.
he like he's able to be very patient with people for the most part. Like if they're trying to like to engage with him, like he will sometimes like get annoyed if people don't like engage properly or listen. But like I've seen it happen where like he presents the facts to people, and they're like, well, I didn't think about this way, and I might have to do some research, and like they don't admit it right away, but like that's not the point. You're supposed to like plant a little seed and be like, where's this gonna lead to, right? And it's
Hmm.
happened with him, right? And I don't think
True.
the point is to change someone's mind that day. It's just over time. I think people can come to that understanding because like it has to come from the person to change in the first place, right? And if it's
Hmm.
something where it's like a belief, it takes a while to change that, right? So
Hmm.
yeah. But
Okay.
why don't you like Parker?
I see where you're coming from. I always wanted to watch him and Dean. Side thing, I was able to troll both of them really well.
Troll?
But anyway, yeah, I trolled them before. Like, I pretended to be a MAGA supporter. And I just
Oh,
said ridiculous things. And the whole chat was trying to tell Dean, like, dude, she's trolling. He was like, I cannot tell if she is
aw,
or not. Let's just keep this rolling for a few. But
right.
anyway, I really want to enjoy watching them, because they are able to do what you said. I guess that's why. But they just constantly bring up the grape accusation, and it's like, dude, I feel
Yeah,
like I hear that 1,000 times an episode.
yeah, it's it's the same like I would say talking points at this point because like
Mm,
I could probably regurgitate like what they say, but like
right.
I don't have like a really in depth understanding about like all the politics or economics or whatever the shit. I don't. This is why I don't like go in with debate mindset. Like I keep it open minded so we can like talk about literally anything. I'm not, maybe I'm just being hard on myself, but like I don't think I'm that good of a debater when it comes to like the facts. Like I don't even stay up to date with current events, which is bad. But when it comes to just like listening to someone or trying to understand someone's point of view or just working through something or even getting into deep philosophical conversations about life or psychology and stuff, that's what interests me. But if someone wants to talk about politics, I'll let them. I'm just not going to claim to be that factual about it, and I'll lean in with more curiosity to see like if it makes sense what they're saying or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I can kind of understand your point of view when it comes to them talking about stuff like that. So, um, there used to be Harry. Used to be a guy that used to watch, but he doesn't get on anymore. I don't think. Or am I? I don't think I'm even following him. I don't know. Um, or atheist people who do debates is Mezzo and Joel reads Bible. They're hilarious. Um, and they have good points when it comes to like the Christian God at least. Um, but yeah, I don't. Whenever
Are
I
you
watch,
atheist?
I'm agnostic, but I lean spiritually, and uh,
Mm,
so if you want to talk about that, we can talk about that. What do you lean towards?
right.
What are you?
Um, I basically feel like I'm going through psychosis because I feel like I can't pick a religion right now, and I feel like it feels psychotic to me. Like I was raised Christian, but even though I was sent to church and I was taught about Jesus, it wasn't until like really within the past recent years I was like, hold on, am I a Christian because I don't believe in I've never believed in the Trinity. Despite everything about how I was raised, and basically it goes back to more so how I was raised in the house, more so how I was raised in church. But even in church, John 3:16 calls Jesus God's son, not God. So I never really never conformed to the Trinity, ever, not once in my life. And so I was like, I'm not Christian, maybe I'm Jewish. That
Well,
was my first.
not all denominations of Christianity believe in the Trinity,
That's
right?
true. That's true.
Because I think Catholics do. Because I was indoctrinated into Catholicism, and they believe in that, which I never really understood. Like it's interesting because I it's bad that I even tried to do this in the first place. But I like kind of debated my sister about religion, and look, it's to the point I don't like really debating religion that much because it's not up to me to change people's minds about that. Like I can bring up stuff that I don't agree with if people are open to it, but my sister wasn't, and I brought up how Jesus, like if she believes in the Trinity, like if they're all one, like then Jesus in the New Testament is the God of the Old Testament, and like he did those things like genocide.
Hmm.
So so I was like
That's
Jesus is
crazy.
like literally the guy that did that, and that didn't she just did not click with that. Like she was very it's bringing up those kinds of things that people don't think about too much. Like it tends to it's hard to talk about, right? So and it's not, like I said, up to me to change people's minds to this, because I think there is some value to believing in a God, right, for the individual. Like I have my own story, or these ideas, right, about what goddess, my infinite amount of goddesses. I don't know. We're still figuring that out, but it's not up to me to convince you of what I believe in, right? But we can, if we want, we can like open up and talk about our gods or God or whatever that might be, and so we can like reach a better conclusion about what they are together potentially.
Say that last part again.
Like we can like reach a conclude, like if we are open to it, like if you want to talk about like what you think God is, and I'll talk about what I think my
Oh.
God is, like we can like reach a conclusion and be like, you know what, mine doesn't do the genocide, but if yours does, I think you're worshiping the wrong one.
I'm
Something like that.
personally still trying to figure out what God is,
That's
in my
okay.
opinion. Yeah.
Oh, totally
So
okay.
I was like, maybe I'm Jewish, because I was raised on Christian beliefs, but with not being able to get behind the Trinity, I was like, maybe we should just kind of forget about the New Testament for a second, explore the Old Testament, see what this says. But then just recently, now I'm like, let's look into Hinduism. My
Right.
goal is always to find the truth, and the fact that those are two old religions are what really led me to them.
Right. I think there's a lot we can take from all these different kinds of religions. I don't I like people believe them for a good reason, right? But
Mm.
I think we can like pick and choose like good and bad parts. Like I don't subscribe to Christianity, but I believe the idea of Jesus is true, or we should hold on to that idea because it's important. And like with these ancient texts or like religions and whatnot, I think we can build on top of that and create together like a story that's universal. And I believe we can, maybe not in my lifetime, but like a story that we can all get behind and abstract and aspire to like conquer, and not conquer, but be and progress as human beings, right? It can happen. I
Mm.
think it can. It has to happen. It should happen.
Mhm. I feel like we've progressed. I think that progress is slow.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I think that we're making a lot of progress, as a society. You know, we don't stone people anymore.
Right.
You know, that's thousands of years detached, maybe hundreds of years detached. But I definitely think they're making progress, and I'm not writing it all off to religion.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not saying that we're waiting for a God to come and say hallelujah over earth either. Like I'm not waiting to see God on earth. That's not something I would expect of a God. I wouldn't expect the creator of this earth to come here. If anything, that is why I did believe in Jesus as God's son. Jesus had or God had to send somebody. Why not send his son? Sounds good to me.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. I have a different way of like understanding about how that could have been, that could have happened. Um, but I think the idea, like I said, is important to hold on to, and why not aspire to be like someone, right?
Mm. Aspire to be like Jesus or
Yeah,
God.
yeah. God, Jesus, like that's like the
Mm-hmm.
whole Christian like idea, right? Is to walk in Jesus's footsteps, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so this is I'll propose this idea out here. I'm not saying this is true, but this is more of like a thought experiment as to like kind of think about what this means, and I'll tie it back to a story that I can relate to. So perhaps Mary understood the power of belief was like incredibly like powerful and important, and like, and if people believe in something, something great can happen, right? So perhaps she lied about having the Son of God, but she got a group of people convinced that was the deal in the first place. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying, I don't know how this happened. I'm not saying it did, but imagine a group of people collectively believing in one like thing being divine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does that do to a kid or a teenager
Mm-hmm.
or even an adult? And the reason I bring this up is like, I believe we ought to like believe in each other, right? And like validate each other, and really like pick each other up and like work together to figure out what we can do together, because I think there's more to the mind, body, and soul than we realize. And I'll go back to this story. So it happens when I'm in bipolar, when I'm in mania, right? And at this time, like, I'm having like grandiose thoughts, of course, and racing thoughts, and just euphoric feelings, and very pattern seeking, very symbolic thinking. And I'm fasting, and I go to a restaurant across the street, and I get some bread, right? And I just nibble on the bread. I'm sitting at the bar, and behind me there's like a guy just saying fuckity fucks out loud. And I turn around, and there's like three younger girls. Like, one has to be like 5 years old, and like their mother, and then like one of their mothers, right? And I just return back to my bread and just nibble on it. And the guy, he just keeps on like negatively just like saying fucks out loud. And so I'm eating my bread, and I turn around and I say zip it. And I just like hiss at him and like zip it. And he instantly just like gets shocked, right? And then gets like maybe embarrassed, but like gets angry. And I return back to my bread, nibble on it. I kid you not, I on the tip of my tongue I feel spice on the tip of my tongue.
Mm-hmm.
And I turn around and I see he's just like devouring his Nashville chicken sandwich, which is a spicy chicken sandwich. And look, I don't know what to make of this. It's just data at this point. There might be a scientific explanation behind it, but I think if I was going to put some sort of meaning behind it, I think we activated in a desynchronized way, but like synchronized enough for us to be like witnessing each other on a deep level, and something activated within my body to feel what he was feeling. And if that's something, that's something. But like, I think
Mm-hmm.
I'm proposing this idea at her because like I don't know if other people have this experience, right? Or how we can reproduce it like scientifically in the first place, right? But like, there's more going on to us than I think we collectively understand, and that's why I put those two stories together, because I think we can figure it out together.
I've never had that experience. But one thing, it kills me that I cannot find it on the internet anywhere. Me and my mom used to stay up late watching TV and eating Taco Bell. And there was this show, which of course I can't remember the name of, or else I'd probably be able to find it. Um, I've sifted through hundreds of episodes of, cause I was able to find a little bit anyway, but there's so many anyway. And none of them are the episodes for the show. So anyway, it's hidden, is what I'm trying to say. What me and my mom watched at 2 a.m. that was so life revealing to me, to the point where I'm gonna tell it to you now, 15 years later.
Yeah.
They hid it from the public, in my opinion. So this guy was basically just a genius about the mind. He understood the human brain to the point where he would bring contestants, and they weren't necessarily contestants. He would bring people onto his show and he would say, I can read your mind so well that I'm going to let you decide between two or three or whatever, four, five, six, seven different things. But I'm going to control your mind and lead you to a decision to the point where six of those seven things can literally uh, end your life. But I am going to influence your mind so much that you're going to pick the one out of seven that is safe for you. Do you trust me? Let's do this. Okay. And I watched some episodes, so many episodes like that, right? And it was such a cool show. But the one example that I remember best is less extreme.
Mm.
It was he was in a car dealership and he had this actor or whatever who was acting as a car dealer sitting with people who I don't know how he got the people. I don't remember that part of it. But he had two people sitting talking in front of each other, right? And the one guy who was some form of an actor was dressed in a certain way. He had polka dots on his tie or no wait, what was it? I'm making that up. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
The man, they were just actually, it was two people at a table having a conversation, but they were at a car dealership. And what the mind expert would do is he had a little car and he would dress it up in something like polka dots or stripes or a certain color. And they would be sitting at a desk, these two people, right outside of a window or right next to a window, rather.
Mm.
So out of his peripheral vision, right, he can probably kind of see this car driving past him that the mind expert has driving past them during their conversation. But these contestants, and he did it with multiple people. These contestants were sitting in front of that person and they were having a conversation, and they were asked, something like, "What color are you thinking I should get for my tie?" or something like that. And
Mm.
they would say the exact color. Or the most one that stood out to me was the polka dots. They were like, "You should get a polka dot tie." He had a polka dot car drive past that person, right?
Yeah.
It was something along those lines. I'm sure I'm getting some detail of it wrong,
Oh, that's
but
okay.
I'm sure you also get the point.
Like
The
trying to
subliminals,
subconsciously like
trans
put.
subconsciously.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
that's what it's called. Okay,
you got
cool.
it.
Yeah,
No, I
that's.
just love. I'm sure that's what it's called. I'm not 100% sure, but that sounds so correct.
Yeah, well, like subconsciously just trying to like put like images in their minds, like kind of like
It's
manipulate them in
exactly
a
what he was
sense.
doing.
Right.
Yeah, he was putting images in their mind and they didn't have to see them was the whole point. They never had to actually see it. It was just in their vicinity.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's crazy. I've heard about, or like I've seen like, I don't know if it's like they're like called magicians, but like psych something, or I don't know what they're called. But there's a guy that did something similar where like he gave people like a book, and like they're like flip to the first page, and like pick out the word at the end of the page on this number, and like they figure out like like they're both of them are connected in some way, and in a way that he already knew in the first place. Like
Mm.
I'm not explaining that in the best way because I don't remember exactly how
Two
it
people opening
exactly
up to
went.
the same page, same word.
I don't know about that. It wasn't. I don't think it was the
Oh,
same page, same word, but I think like they were connected in some way, or like maybe the same word, or maybe not. I don't know. But like, um,
but it's connected. Okay.
but it was connected, and like I don't know how people do that stuff, like where they can like, I'm sure there's like many different like things, like if something fails, and then do this, if that fails, then do that, to make the trick work still. But like I don't know how that all works, and it's kind of amazing how people can even figure out that in the first place to make it, to like just break people's brains and be like, whoa, how did you do that, right? I find magicians like that to be pretty fascinating. But I don't know if that's the same line of like what you're describing. If he's like technically a magician, do you remember what that TV show was called?
No, so I can it would take me probably 5 to 10 minutes. It would actually take me a considerable amount of time to even find the host's name.
Oh yeah,
But
you're
the
right.
host, he is like a known mind worker or whatever his title is. And he has hundreds and hundreds of different not only episodes, but he has like 50 different TV shows within itself. So actually finding the one episode of the one show, I've I spent a lot of time, but I gave up.
That's okay. That's okay.
So I could find his name and message it to you one day, and maybe you can just check out who he is.
Oh yeah.
But one thing I considered her to be crazy, but she was very smart. I had a research professor back in college, and she was a research professor, so she just researched so many things in her life, and she was telling us about this government experiment where they were trying to do what is it called? Teleport. Like they were trying to like teleport his mind to Mars, an adult man.
Teleport? What?
His mind. His
How?
mind to Mars.
What?
The government did this. This is a real thing, I swear.
That sounds wild. I don't even know how that would work.
It
The
does. She, like I said, we all thought she was crazy, but like she's a research expert. Like she's a research professor. Like she's researched. Like she was just really well researched,
Right, right.
and so we were just blessed to have somebody so freaking well researched. So yeah, it's a real thing. I could you could Google it right now because it has
Okay,
to
I'm
be
gonna I'm gonna
declassified for her to share it with us.
let's do it.
Teleporting a man's, but it gets way more interesting than that. So this man claimed that he was able to teleport his mind to Mars, and he described it to the scientist. Okay, so let me tell you what they did after that. They took it a step further, and they were like, maybe it's just because this man is like an adult man, he knows what Mars is supposed to look like, he probably just told us what it's supposed to look like, right? He even described like Martians or something like that, or I don't remember, but underneath the surface of Mars. Actually, yeah, I remember that now. So underneath the surface, I think he said there was actually Martians, and he saw them, and he described what the Martians looked like on top of, and describing Mars. But they were like, okay, this man knows what Mars is supposed to look like. They know what he knows what a Martian would technically kind of look like. So they did it on a child, and the child came back with the same exact description of Mars as the grown adult man
Why'd they do it on a child? Holy moly! Wait, so
to
when
test
they
to to make sure that it wasn't like he was just so, because the child wasn't exposed to the, this is what Mars is supposed to look like, this is what a Martian is supposed to look like. So the child came back with the same exact account as the adult.
that's crazy. Like I'm not seeing something on when I type it into Google.
Oh.
I moved my thing. Whoopsies! I didn't mean to move my screen here. Sorry. Um, when I type it into Google, the AI says it's currently impossible, but then Reddit says, "What happens if you teleport from Mars?" Which is, I think, a different question. If I teleport from, and then
Look
Reddit,
up CIA teleportation to Mars experiment. I feel like it was the CIA who would have done it.
mm, oh, so the CIA mind teleportation to Mars refers to a 1984 Stargate project
Stargate,
experiment
that's it.
where a psychic used remote viewing to project their consciousness to Mars. This sounds wild. This is crazy. During a trance, the
Mm-hmm.
psychic described ancient, large scale structures like pyramids and tall, thin beings who were trying to survive severe environmental catastrophes. How the experiment worked, the date and goal, okay, blah, 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 blah. The coordinates, the psychic wasn't, to prevent bias, the psychic wasn't told the location. Instead, they were handed a sealed envelope and read specific geographic coordinates to
Oh
focus
yeah,
their
that
to
too.
focus their mind. The sites the subject claimed to see megalithic structures, pyramids, massive storms, and tall, thin ancient inhabitants facing an existential crisis. Whoa, uh, that's crazy. I never even heard about this.
Yeah, I love knowing about. So like, it's I love getting on. I don't love it. I actually hate it. I hate getting on TikTok and debating with. That's why I want to do this. I hate debating with people. Like, okay, it's cool that you don't know that. I'm not like talking down on you. I swear to God. But like, I hate debating with people who like always tell me I'm wrong, and they have just control over the situation because they're the host of a live, and they're telling me and like I know things like the general public usually doesn't even know, and I could really educate some people on here, but instead
Right.
they just want to be TikTok doctors. And it's like, dude,
No, what do you mean by
you're not.
TikTok doctors?
They think they're so educated. And like the ironic
Wild.
part about me is I was educated by doctors through and through because I was part of pilot programs. And like I might not be a doctor, but I'm pretty intelligent.
Right. Well, I think when it comes to people who wants to do who do debates, like I joined a debate and like people just want to be right. It's like God, like just why not just be curious? I think if we lean in with more curiosity and ask better questions and like we can have a good discussion like no matter who comes online on live about debates or whatever. But like if people just want to be right and like they're not willing to listen to like different points of view, I think that it becomes a problem to a certain extent, right? Like I think some things we can like kind of be like, well, I don't know about that, but like I think we should be curious and lean into just different ideas to understand what we're like, where it comes from in the first place, and what can we make of that, right? I think that's a better way to lead in with curiosity.
So, what do you think about the Stargate thing? It's kind of crazy, right?
It
Like,
is. So
what are your thoughts?
I had to look into this more. But I think as like I'd be curious, like where is their mind, like the view, like if they're viewing this, like are they viewing it in within their mind, or like is their mind being teleported
Yes.
to, so
Ooh, good question.
is their mind being teleported to a different thing, like located on Mars, like an object, or like some sort of something where like
Mm,
you can map your consciousness to. And this is why I'm kind of curious with the origins of consciousness in the first place, which kind of is a different
mhm,
topic. But I just have I'm just curious how they teleported, and like how they're able to uh, pick a destination with their mind. I don't know. I'd be curious to talk to this guy or these
mhm.
people that did it.
For sure, for sure. The documents I think are declassified, so you should be able to look through those hopefully and kind of see the details.
Right, declassified documents released through the Freedom of Information Act. What that just happened recently?
Uh, I graduate or not graduated, but I went to college a long time ago, so they've probably been declassified for some time now.
You're 28, right?
Yeah, sorry, I make myself older than I
Oh,
have
I'm
young
28 too.
siblings.
I'm 28 too.
Yeah, I have
That's why I
siblings who are
remember it.
teenagers. Yeah, and so they always have a way to make me feel old. Like apparently I'm literally like they'll call me like a dinosaur. So
Uh,
when I say 10 years ago, it feels pretty old. So it was probably 6 years ago, something like no, 10 years ago actually. Fuck.
well, since college.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
about
so
10
you
years.
did you graduate high school early, or like, or did
No,
you only?
I did a fast track college program. So my
Okay.
first 2 years of college I completed within 10 months.
Whoa. Damn.
Yeah.
Was it just like a shit ton of credit hours, or like
Yep.
in those
Yep.
in a short amount of time? Yeah. Damn. Good for
Yep.
you. That's impressive.
Thank you.
Um. Yeah. I did 4 years, and the last year was during COVID, during 2020. So I didn't walk. Thank God, I didn't want to walk in the first place.
Oh yeah, you did say that. I remember that
Oh,
now.
that was with you.
What?
Okay, that's crazy because like that's
Yeah.
that's the only time I brought it up with the person on TikTok. So that's crazy.
I ended up getting two associate's degrees. I went to get my bachelor's in political science and I dropped out for a cascade of reasons. But what did you graduate with? What did you get your degree in?
Uh,
Did I mean, you graduated. Yeah,
Bachelor of
you said
Fine
you did.
Arts. So it's crazy. I'm a theater major, believe it or not. But it's more
Okay.
in tuned with like not in tuned, but like the emphasis is film and new media with an emphasis in 3D art and animation.
That's so cool. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Well, I love talking to you. Maybe we could even meet in person one day.
yeah,
One day, far out for me. Lord knows I got a lot on my plate,
for
but
sure.
I
Are
got
you
I
are you in the
got
states?
yeah, I'm on the East Coast. I like to just say the East Coast. Um, I don't want to stalk you. Now you have to say where you're from. Are you on the West Coast or the East
I'm
Coast?
in Kansas City. I don't mind saying it.
Kansas City, isn't that Ohio?
What? Kansas City, Ohio?
Oh wait, Kansas.
Well, Kansas and Missouri. It's one of those weird
Wait.
cities where it's like on the border of Kansas and the border of Missouri, and the good downtown is, well, the good downtown, like where shit happens, is in Missouri,
Right.
and the Kansas City, Kansas downtown is kind of wimpy, kind of
Mm.
sketchy too, but but yeah, I'm trying to get the fuck out of Kansas City.
Well, that sounds pretty fun, honestly. You got the best of both worlds. But my phone's on 3%,
Oh yeah,
and I hop on this little game show. I don't know if it's happening right now, so I'm gonna charge my phone, get off alive, maybe get on that game show. I'll send you
nice.
an invite if I can, but I think you're on live, so I'll
Okay.
understand if you don't come. But good talking to you.
You too. Yeah, it's always good talking with you. You're always welcome to
All right,
come up another time too. So take care.
appreciate it. Have a good night.
All right, night.
All right.
All right. How do we get out of this? Oh, here we go. All right. So that happened, and it's only 8:44, which means we can get the guitar out again. But no one like was really watching that. It says we have one person on my phone, but oh, there we go. We have one person that came up. Welcome in. we just got done with a conversation with another person, but the topic is what's been on your mind lately. We can talk about literally anything, anything at all, um, with the goal of having healthy dialogues where we can just like come together and be like, yo, what are we doing on this earth? And I think modeling out healthy dialogues is a good thing to do to show we can be like curious about whatever it needs to be. I'm just rambling at this point, but we can listen to me playing guitar for a little bit if you want. But we can request up to with the pink and the blue people down there. Um, we can chit chat about literally anything. Or should I get off? I don't know. I feel like I could talk and stay up a little bit later. I don't know. It just seems like halfway through the live, I've been on for an hour, and people have joined, but people haven't stayed. Excuse me. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. Hello, hello, welcome in, people. People being hateful because of this month. Yeah, no, I hear that. Bean sings. I think it's disgusting. Uh, why do people have to be that way, right? I think the more we hopefully educate people that it's okay to be gay, guys. It's okay. We're not trying to ram it down your throats just because we're out there and celebrating the month, right? I mean, I don't really like celebrate it. I acknowledge that it happens, right? But it's a good thing that it's becoming more um, something that's good to talk about or showcase. Am I saying this the right way? I think the more we have more kids, I think they'll see it. They'll see it. The boomers just have to. I don't know. Is it the boomers though? Because there's some young people that are still like that. All right, welcome in, people. Welcome in. Jeez, what am I saying? I'm saying welcome in, Brady. I've been feeling very hard on myself recently, just like very critical, and you'll hear me in these states of mind just be talking cognitively to like correct myself. It's like Brady, don't. That's okay. It's okay to say this. Okay. So I'm getting to the point where I'm like trying to reframe these negative thoughts in real time, and I do that quite a bit when I'm in these states of mind. Um, I'm feeling okay today. Well, now I am. I was much more in a negative headspace when I came back from work, but I walked around outside for a bit and just externalized my thoughts and talked out loud and tried to figure out what was going on. But I think I have a pretty good understanding of what that is, and I just appreciate you guys hanging out. Beans. I'm in the negative headspace right now. I'm sorry to hear about that, man. I'm sorry to hear. Or a man. I don't know if you're a woman or someone else. Sorry. I just say man instinctively. I'm sorry you're in a negative headspace. It sucks sometimes. Um, I like I said, I try to externalize them because internally, like sometimes I'll just like think and think and think and not always be conscious of what I'm thinking of and just ruminates. And I think catching it is a good thing for me. Hello, all good. Okay, good. Um, yeah, just like trying to be aware of my thoughts has helped me out a lot. Like the thing is, like we're always gonna like I think we're always going to feel like negative, like emotions sometimes, or think negative thoughts. Like I don't think there's such thing as a good or a bad thought. They just are. It's like what we choose to do with it. It determines like how we can proceed forward, right? And with emotions too. I don't think there's such thing as a negative emotion because they just indicate like something is going on and we can figure it out, right? Um, so I hope you can work through that. And if you want to come up and talk, you're more than welcome. Um, just I'm more than happy to hold space and listen if you need to talk about anything. Um, but hopefully you get through that. uh, the thing is, like, life isn't always linear, right? And there's gonna be ups and downs, and sometimes there's something to learn about in these states of mind. So something to always just like get better at, I think. And I think the more, for me personally, like thinking about like feeling this way, like if I catch it fast enough, I'll be able to like fine tune my brain in a sense to like if it happens again, I can like get back out of it quicker. Perhaps, I don't know. I'm still experimenting, but it's been this past year and a half has been quite the journey. Like I wouldn't have been on live to doing TikToks like a year ago. Like I'm like, no way. Like I was very negative. Like I thought I was a boring person, um, and like negative on myself and hard on myself, right? And didn't think I had it in me to do this. And it's because of two amazing women in my life, and it's us believing in each other that really helped me get to this point. Like I've always had it in me, but having these supportive people in my life really changed who I am today, and I owe a lot to them. So I kind of also abstract this person, one of these women in my life, and I talk to them in my head, and um, and they become kind of like the voice of reason in a sense. But like I've kind of adapted that into being me. Like that's my voice. Obviously, it's my voice. But like being me as that voice of reason instead of this other person. But it started off with her, and even at times too, she still comes into my mind and is like, "Yo, Brady, don't say that." I'm like, okay, I can sing, or I can take requests. I don't know if I want to sing tonight. I get very in my head. I'm not like the best singer, but we can sing a verse if we want. Can't come up, but I think I just feel kind of discouraged and sick about certain world events happening. Yes, I can understand. Um, I try to unplug and not. It's bad because I'm like I don't know as much that goes on in the world, but I don't actively look out for news, which is probably not the best thing. Um, but it's depressing sometimes just seeing a bunch of negative stuff. Um, it's good to be informed though, but I can understand how it could be discouraging and like feeling sick about it. So uh, it's just kind of sad just seeing where the world's at. But you know, we could look outside and hopefully in your community you can see good things, and we start small, right? And we have these dialogues with people, or we have this community, and we're talking with people right now, and well, I'm talking with you right now, and you know we both see it, and I'm trying to do my best to promote positive um, talks and curious, to be curious, open-minded, and understanding. And I think if people put that into their values, like their foundation about who they are as people, we can progress as humans. And I think modeling these conversations out is an important thing, right? To showcase like what people can actually do, right? And get to a deeper root of like what we're doing on this earth together. um, it starts small, but I have faith that things are going to get there. Because, like, look, I've been doing this for a month, and one of the first people I've talked to, her name is Brooke, and she became inspired by my live to do her own lives and do the same similar thing. So that's something, right? And then last week I had four different people up at the same time, and they all had different came from different backgrounds. Like one was an atheistic Satanist, which sounds worse than it is, right? It's actually an interesting thing. It's more like rebellion and like taking care of like nature and being kind to humans. But it's like not worshiping Satan. It's like the idea of it. But anyways, like that was one person, and another person was a theist, and another person was atheist, and I'm agnostic, leaning spiritually. And like we were all coming together, and we were just talking about like deep things, and it was an amazing thing, and it was a beautiful moment. And they even said that on live. Like one of the guys, like I didn't even expect like this to even happen on this platform in the first place, and it was beautiful. And look, it's small stuff like this, right? And this is why I'm getting better at not being so negative right now, because like I'm reminding myself why like this is important to do, right? Even if it's at a small scale, like I'm confident and optimistic that like people can have a ripple effect on how they treat, you know, themselves, but like other people too, to the point where like who knows where this goes. It's like a domino effect, and I really do think that's the case. Appreciate the follow, science, Jesse. Science. I just rambled there, but like I think I think it's important to just lean in with curiosity, open mindedness, and understanding, and we can reach a conclusion together, even if we have different backgrounds. And it was proven on my life, and it's a beautiful thing. And yeah, I'll stop talking, unless I should keep just rambling. I don't know. But if everyone wants to come up and chit chat, there's the pink and the blue person down here. We can talk about literally anything. What's been on your mind lately is the prompt, and we can talk about literally anything. Literally. Yeah, I wish I could just stop feeling so much, but at the same time, I don't. You know, it's interesting. I felt grief for the first time um, last year, and it was like really painful, just like heaviness in the chest for a whole week. Well, it's still kind of going on, but like it has been that intense since. And something, it's interesting in those states. For me personally, I'd rather feel something than nothing. Um, so I don't know if you can resonate with that, with how you said that. I wish I could stop feeling so much, but at the same time, I don't. Feelings are good, but even though like it can suck sometimes, I still think feelings are a good thing, and they indicate something is within us is like important or true, or worth noticing, right? And I think like how we talk to ourselves is critical, right? Um, to understand what that means for ourselves. Get some more agua. Agua. We got four people. Awesome. Appreciate you guys hanging out. It is a Wednesday. Is it a Wednesday? It is a Wednesday. Hope you guys have been having a good Wednesday. This has been like the strangest week. Monday felt like it wasn't even Monday. Why can't Shakey's do all you can eat dinner? I don't even know what Shakey's is. I didn't even realize that was a restaurant. But that sounds like something that Shakey's is like shakes. Do they have shakes? I take it. I'm gonna look it up. Shakey's. Oh, it's pizza. It was founded in Sacramento, California. I've never heard of Shakey's. Mojo's. What's Mojo's? Is that another restaurant? Mojo's. Oh, Mojo's Shakey's. Is that what it is? I don't know what I'm looking up. Mojo menu? Mojo's menu. Shakey's. Mojo's and more. Famous Mojo's potatoes. Oh, the potatoes are called Mojo's. Those look really good. Holy moly. Maybe I'll just get off and get some food. I don't know. It's a brave new world. Or I wonder if there's one around me. Let's look. Nope. They look like they're in California and Wisconsin? What? In Chicago? Well, it seems like it's more of a California thing. Let's see if it's where I used to live in Los Angeles. North Hollywood is over here. Oh, dude, in Burbank. I could have just drove over there when I was in California. I never heard of Shakey's, though. Let's see. In Chicago, when I went to Chicago, let's see where that one's at. So I was by the park. Oh, so the Shakey's is right over there. I didn't go that far west in Chicago. Oh, you're in Burbank, dude. Nice. Fuck yeah. I used to live in Los Angeles back in 2022, working in the film industry. Good times until Disney laid me off. Fucking Disney, saving up money. Uh, it's understandable because like look they were making less content because like they're like holy shit we're pumping out so much shit right now and it's not making money and it was just a side effect of well I don't know I didn't work for Disney well kind of like they were our clients but the studio I worked for Disney and I was at mercy of the client not funding my studio for more work and a lot of people got laid off. Like it's kind of crazy. Like there's still senior artists, like really good artists that are still struggling to find jobs right now. They're using AI, right? Yeah. I have a friend that's what is he? It's like one step below a producer, like a production manager, I think, or something like that. Something like that. Production coordinator. I don't think that. That's the way he used to be. But he's working on a show, and a director is literally like prompting AI to create concept art, like create 30 different concept art pieces, and I think they're using it for visualization too, which is essentially like a rough version of the movie, which is concerning because that's what I used to do, back in Los Angeles. So what the fuck, right? It's like why are we creating technologies like this that take over people's jobs, especially artists' jobs? It's like it's crazy. It's so stupid and it's not to the point where it's like good for finals animation as far as I know or like VFX and finals CGI because like we have a term called pixel fucking and supervisors and directors are like very nitpicky on pixels sometimes and like look AI is just not that good yet but who knows in 2 years in 5 years it could be one person prompting this stuff and doing little fixes here and there. I've prayed for let's go back. I work in the art world. A lot of peeps going for office food delivery. So sad. Going for office food delivery. What do you mean by that? Going for office or like becoming like doing food delivery. All right. I've I've prayed for Beyonce to leave Jay Z and get with me. No, like yeah, Aaron. Oh man. Beyonce, is she still with Jay Z? I don't even know. I don't pay attention to celebrities. And I think I have some Beyonce songs to see. What do I have with Beyonce? Beyonce. What songs do I have of hers? Crazy in Love, Halo, Irreplaceable. That's a good one. That's all. That's all of them. I don't even have Single Ladies. Why? I don't know. I'm not gonna add it now though. Thanks for the talk, by the way. It look helped. Yeah, I appreciate you coming up and just being open about your life and whatnot. So I appreciate it. It's good to hear that it helped. So I appreciate you saying that, and I'm glad it helped. Coldplay, I know Coldplay. Let's see, Coldplay. Let's see what I have on the good old Spotify. I know a lot of their songs. I really liked their Everyday Life album. But Paradise is good. Sparks, Yellow, Clocks, Viva la Vida. Sorry, I don't know why I said it like that. I don't know if I can. Do you have one in particular that you'd like to hear? It's only 9:03. Holy moly! I don't work till 9:30 tomorrow. Great. I've been getting too much sleep though. I need to like wake up at a decent time. WASMR. I appreciate that. Sorry, what am I doing? What am I doing? You unironically have a good ASMR voice. I appreciate you. People, this is the interesting thing. People have been saying I have a good voice in general, and like I always thought I was really nasally, right? I thought I was really nasally, but people keep saying it over and over, and I'm just like, okay, I'll just accept it, I guess. All right, we have a person.
Hello?
Holy moly, how old are you?
19.
You're 19? What's your birth year?
2006.
Okay, I believe you. Sorry. How you doing?
I'm sorry, guys, it's my voice.
It's okay. It's okay.
What's been on your mind lately? Loki, okay, so my friend's here. Say hi. Say hi. Bitch, if you don't say hi, you make me look schizophrenic, I'm gonna fight you. Okay, she's not saying hi. Anyways, we went to 7-Eleven and I spent $45.
Holy moly. On what?
Okay, so we got hot chips, we got like what's it called? Puppy chow kinda or whatever the fuck it is. We got what else did we get? Wait, what did we get? We got Reese's. What else did we get? The guy on the TikTok. What else do we get at 7-Eleven today? You got a slushy. Oh, I got a hot
Hot
dog.
dog? A
Oh,
hot dog?
I didn't know 7-Eleven hot dogs were so gas, dude.
Never have heard of someone say gas before or hot dogs from 7-Eleven.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just like too picky, but that shit was looking fire.
So you got slushies, you got
I also
Reese's?
got gum and
Gum.
wait. We got
You got chips, you get chips. Did you get
yeah, we
drink
got
at
hot
least? Well, you
Cheetos.
got a
Oh, I got a
slushy.
Red Bull.
Oh, Red Bull. Red Bulls are good. You spent $44. Is
I
that
thought you
right?
already took it. 45 whole entire
45.
buckaroo
Damn. I hope it was
at
worth
the
it.
11. I was pretty worth it, but then I got really high and ate all the food, and I ripped open the whole bag of chips,
Oh,
and
dude.
they went
There
everywhere.
you go. There you go. Nice. Nice.
We were eating them off the floor like little pigeons and
Little
shit.
pigeons.
You pissed on them? Is that why they tasted so good? You see the shit? What is that? Ah! Why is there one left?
So, are you
Um,
in high school right now? Or like, are you out of high school or in college? Or what's going on?
I was held back, but I just finished high school.
You
It
held
says
back high
take with
school.
food.
Do you know what you want to do in the future?
Therapist.
Therapist. Okay. Whoa. Nice. Okay. So you're gonna be
If you were
a
my
psychology
therapist, I'd
major?
probably kill myself. Oh, yeah, I really like things with the brain. So like neurology, neuroscience.
Yeah.
You know.
For sure.
You're
That's
gonna be a
awesome.
fucking honestly, yeah. If I'm gonna be a brain surgeon, and I'm gonna be a stripper. Someone's brain is gonna be lobotomized by me if I turn out to be a fucking surgeon.
I think it's
What
crazy. Like,
are
isn't
these?
it crazy how people like understood like how the brain or how the body works to even operate on it? I think that's fantastic. I think it's
I know it's
amazing.
insane.
Right, right.
Amongst yourself.
It's like, how did we get to that?
Gosh,
Like, it's a
wait,
lot
what
of
is it?
trial and error, I'm sure. But
Probably low key because they got like hella years of searching, researching.
hella years, of course.
Oh, cool. And then I just put daytime non-drowsy art shit. Daytime non-drowsy. Does that make you tired or untired? Well, we're about to have some night shift. No, don't do that. My mom told me to take all of them. But we're not sleeping until later. We still gotta. Oh, 1 second. I'm yapping too much. Okay, I'm gonna go off. But
Okay.
good
I
night.
was like, when? Yeah, you have a good night too. Take care. Okay, that was interesting. Okay, we have 6 people, 7 people. Whoa, all right. It's so cool to so cool. It's so cool. Brady, what are you talking about? I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. That's what I was gonna say. What's this guy saying? Why won't conservatives on other lives answer me? Me, pick me. Can you see my comments? I have muted. Okay. Are you trying to request up, dude? I don't see you in the guest. I can try to invite you up, but you can't. You're uh resume live to invite viewers to join as guests. What does that even mean? I can't invite you up right now for some reason. Sorry, senior or SR, however you pronounce it. Senior. I don't know. 6'7". Oh no, that means something. Asor. Ahuti. All right, guys, should I get off? I don't know if I should get off. It's 9:09. Ooh, that's a good time. I don't know. I don't mind just chatting in the chats, but if someone wants to come up and request down here with the blue and the pink person, that's how you do it. Or you can type in the chat and I'll try to invite you up. The topic tonight is what's been on your mind lately. We can talk about literally anything with the goal of having healthy dialogues and aligning and progressing as human beings and figuring out what the fuck we're doing together on this earth. That's the goal. That's the goal. America just on my mind lately. America. What about America? Cool. U.S. Coney. NZ coconut. Yeah. Did I just say something? I don't even know. Us Coney. Nz coconut. I don't know. Nothing like some agua purificada. Well, I guess we can get the guitar out again. All right. Are you reading emojis? No, I'm trying to read your name, dude. US Coney NZ coconut. I don't know what that even means. Oh, I share this account with my American fiance. Oh, nice. I was wondering. Okay, I was wondering. Okay, New Zealand sounds really fun to go to. Like the mountains. I think the nature would be fantastic to see. And the ocean. Oh man, I've been thinking negatively about America lately. Yeah, what about America? I can think about negatively about America too, but I don't know what. What? You don't know what, Brady? Of course I know what. I just don't say it out loud. I'm waiting for the people. What about the people? I'm American, dude. And I'm proud to be an American. Hello, welcome in.
Hi, Brady. How are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
You know, I was doing pretty bad, and I was going to come up and I was going to say something really mean to you, but you seem like a decent individual, and now I feel bad.
What's going on? What's going on?
Man, today fucking sucked, but I'm trying to not suck. So,
If you don't mind sharing, why did it suck?
I'm not sure, like, the limits that you love you was speaking on, but it was heavy, religious based. I spoke to a couple people today, and they were very, uh, senseless.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm sorry about that. Like here on TikTok you talk to, or like in your life that you like.
Yeah, it was I had a couple of people that are religious. They have conversations with people and I've known them for a while, but I went up and I guess today was a little different. They just to give like brief understanding without going into detail. I had a little sister that unfortunately took her life over Christians, and they decided to weaponize that against me. So it was the whole thing that went on.
I'm so sorry to hear about that. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Um, so I take it you're atheist. Is that where you come from?
No, I come from a bloodline of witchcraft.
So like would that be spiritually leading, or like what would that be technically
Yeah,
based?
it's more just spiritual.
I'm curious to hear about witchcraft. Like what do you mean by that?
Well, from the 1400s, my family has practiced different branches of witchcraft, those typically being associated with vampirism. And that's kind of where my family tree comes from.
Did you say vampirism?
Yeah, vampirism.
Whoa, vampirism. What's so that's like actual vampires like that can't like go out into the light, or like am I, or is that something different than what I think of?
No, I mean, it's not how it's portrayed in like Dracula and whatever with the castles and the bats and coffins. They're rather casual, just overall. Like the concept of what they are is pretty much what's practiced.
What they are is what's practiced. So they can't go out into light.
It goes deeper than that, but in
Okay.
in concept, yeah.
So so there's like good and bad witches, is that right? Or am I like making shit up?
Yeah, there's good and bad witches.
What do you think you are? Who do you think you are? A good or a bad witch?
Neither. I don't think I'm a witch in my bloodline. My mom told me, she's like, you forgive me for my tone, by the way, I've been drinking.
You're good.
My mom, she told me that she had a vision at one point, and she saw me as a vampire late in my life, like in my 30s. So the whole like witch and spells and spellbook stuff like that, that isn't exactly my strong suit. But the last witch that was in my family was my grandmother.
Okay. So what would you identify yourself as then if you did identify yourself as something?
Um, I'd say just stay spiritual individual until if that thing that I believe in is real, just a normal spiritual individual.
Okay. So like I'm curious, like when you say, because like you dive into witchcraft and this stuff, but like you don't fully believe it until it happens, or like, or but you have like a god, or like how many, like what do you think about like
No,
God?
there's no. Yeah, I believe in a higher power,
Okay,
but to the extent that they probably just don't care about us. It's
like a
pretty
deistic god.
complex. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah.
Like something's out there, but it might just not really care.
I can see that being plausible, right? I think it makes sense. Because like if we go with describing God in a certain way, sometimes like with specific texts, like I would say Christianity, because like I'm more educated with that. Uh, like it doesn't
Mm.
correlate exactly to what we see in the real world, or even in the Bible in the first place. If people claim it's like all powerful, all knowing, like all perfect or whatever it is, like some that sometimes that doesn't like correlate to what we see in the Bible or in the real world. So, but like I'm agnostic, so I but I'm spiritually leaning. It's like it makes sense to be spiritual for me personally, but like it's not up to me to like convince people, right? If Unless they're like interested to hear more about it. But I also don't subscribe to Christianity, but I believe the idea of Jesus is true, and I think that's something we can hold on to as a good thing, right?
Yeah, I think based on like historical documentation and evidence that we have, I think Jesus being God is possible, but just for now, I think it's only right to say that he at least lived, and that's about it, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I come to it from a different understanding, but I think it's plausible. It's one of those things that I don't think is out of the realm of impossibilities. If anything, he was a human that was on the earth and
Mm.
did get crucified, right? Like when it comes to miracles, like I have to kind of think about it differently to reach that conclusion. But who knows? When a collective believes in one divine thing, what does that do? You know?
Yeah, for sure. As far as, like what you were saying earlier, as God goes, I think if Christianity were true, I think the way that the world's going at the moment would be a lot different. The claim is that he's all loving and he hates evil. And if that were the case, I think we'd see intervention everywhere on the planet, and we don't, which is why I think whatever created us, wherever it may be, it might not even be sentient, but if it is, I think it just doesn't really pay much attention.
That's interesting. If it's not sentient and it created us, like, what does that mean then? That's like such an alien way to think, you know? But I think it's
Yeah, no.
interesting.
Yeah, what's something that's all powerful and has no limit? I think there's things that we may not understand.
Right,
It's
right.
probably just it.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I tend to I have my own idea of what it might be of like it's if it's I believe there's like one true force driving this up, if anything. But like could it
Mm-hmm.
be like a multiple amount of things? Like could it be infinite amount of goddesses? I don't know. It's like I'm open to changing things a bit to like fit like people's like just different understandings of what this could be, right? And maybe like for us it could be all different, but like it can resonate and be similar in some other aspects too, potentially. So that's why I'm agnostic, because I think it's important to like bridge the gaps between these different ideologies and thinking and religions, because I think we can like use
Yeah.
these different like ancient texts to like progress and reach a better story together as the human species, right? Like we are the human species.
Mm-hmm.
We should progress together, and no one's above or below. We're just always we're here for each other. And I think if we promote that and find a story that works for everyone, like who knows what happens with that, right?
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. And I think the reason why I do believe in what I believe in also has a big thing to do with a moral compass. I think plenty of the religions out there, at least the major world ones, they don't have the greatest morals of all time. Me believing in what I believe in, the moral compass is simply be good, do what you gotta do, and if hurt ever comes along the way, just don't do it in malicious intent. And that's kind of just how I handle my morals, and I think I do well with it.
Right. When you say if hurt comes your way, like don't do it in a malicious way. Like what do you mean by that?
Obviously, people go through things that may hurt them and others, but it could be, just for their greater good on both ends. Like, for example, if you have like a really bad breakup, right? It's always going to hurt you and it's going to hurt her, but it's for the better of the both of you. It's just things like that. I don't mean like
Yeah.
physically punching somebody. Don't do that in
I
malicious
see that. I
intent.
see. I see. Yeah, I think there's something to learn from these experiences, right? I think we should reduce unnecessary suffering as much as possible and teach people, like, what how we can like overcome that. And I have ways of thinking about this, but like I believe, like if we I believe that fear is the root cause of all unnecessary suffering, and if the individual can eradicate fear from the mind, they can lead more productive and fulfilling lives. This doesn't mean that we can't feel fear. Like feeling emotions is good, but like just don't let it dictate like our thought process. And I think it's harder, it's easier said than done, right? But I think if we lead with like being like my ethos is fearlessly be for others and myself, and like going on live and TikTok and doing this right now is like I had social anxiety like crazy last year, but like what my goal of this live is like trumps and like overcomes like my anxiety to the point where like I'm able just to be, and I think I'm living that as much as I possibly can, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. I come from the same point of view. I mean, there's been times where I attempted at speaking to people and tried to the conversation started, but I always felt like I was kind of just pushed over and momented over it. But
Sorry,
I think like
you're mumbling a bit. I can't quite hear you too much. Sorry.
I was looking away from my phone. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was just saying when it comes to like the whole idea of like anxiety and whatever. I'd say probably starting this year in the beginning was when I started kind of just not caring and how people may think when I speak to them and not really caring about people's opinion because I feel like that was kind of like the thing that held me back when I first started trying to talk to people. But ever
Right.
since then, I kind of just crushed it.
You're doing so good right now, and I appreciate just being vulnerable and open to talk in the first place. So thank you so much.
Yeah,
But like,
I definitely had the intent of coming up and being an asshole, but
what were you
quickly
gonna
turned around.
what were you gonna do? I'm curious.
I was gonna come up and be like, "Hey Brady, I have a question." And you're gonna be like, "What up?" And I'll be like, "Can you just shut the fuck up?" And it
If you
was
said
just
that,
kind
I'd
of
be like, okay, fine, I'll shut up.
But no, you were so welcoming and you were so nice. I was like,
Well, I
wait,
appreciate it.
no.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've had a couple trolls, and surprisingly, the vast majority of people have been really kind and good people to talk to. I haven't had to deal with many trolls, thank God. But the first time it
Mm.
happened, I gave them the reaction they're looking for, and I reflected. I'm like, no, Brady, you do not call them idiots. Don't call them fucking idiots. Where they need to develop their brains better and come back next year to talk to you. Don't say that. But now I just know, just don't react and don't say anything. So I would probably give you like the minimal amount of attention.
Well, then I'm glad I didn't end up going that route.
Yeah, but yeah, what were we talking about? Anxiety. So like, yeah, so I think it's important to like come to that realization, like what like other people don't like. Who cares what people think about you, right? But like, I spent so much of my life thinking that way, where like I just couldn't be, and it took me a long time just to really like develop this, right? And like I want to be like I said, like a year ago I would not be doing this, going on TikTok live, but it's two people in my
Mm.
life that was very important, two wonderful women, and like two women, and they believed in me and I believed in them, and like it was just a really positive thing, and like because of them, like I want to be who I am. And one thing that really helped with me is one of them externalized their thoughts and just like talked with like everything like it was their friends, like the birds, the trees, and I kind of did that on my own during a dark period of my life, and it helped me just externalize my thoughts, just like talk out loud to really correct my negative thinking, because I was it's so in my head and internally thought like stuff that I wasn't like fully aware of and conscious of, and just like bringing it out and speaking it out into the world. I was able to like catch it and like be like, okay, hang on, Brady. If it wasn't for you in the past, I wouldn't be who I am today, and like be more kind to myself, and like how do I talk to my future and past self? And I'm kind of rambling at this point, but like how we talk to ourselves is critical, right? And I think
Mm.
getting past that point like helped me realize like I don't give a fuck what people think, but then I do it sometimes. But like I always take consideration how people might perceive me, but like it's not to the point where I'm not able to be, if that makes any sense.
Sure. I'm going to move to my chair quick so I can have a better demeanor and speak to you. Give me 1 second.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, yeah. I totally agree. As far as people go, like turning into the people that they turn into. I mean, years ago when I was growing up, I'm 25 now.
Okay.
Years ago, growing up, I didn't really have people to look up to. My dad, he wasn't the greatest. And my mom treats me like some prophecy waiting to unfold rather than her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so there's like no love there. And talking to random people online, trying to get to know people, um, it's strange because I always thought I wasn't going to be able to get along with anyone because it's like, oh, this girl, she comes from a witchcraft family and she believes in vampires and she is a weirdo. That's basically how I thought everyone would interpret me as a person. But I think when I finally, it's not that I didn't have confidence in myself. I guess it's because I was more so worrying about like how people would think. So like I started working on my own self-esteem. I started working on where I come from. I started working on my body. I started working on just me as a person, and I guess it's just one day it just kind of clicked, and I didn't care anymore. It's kind of where I am now.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate for one being so like open and vulnerable with all this. I'm sorry like it's been difficult with your parents. Uh, but like it's interesting to hear your story, like where you came from and like who you are today, and like you're doing the thing. Like we're being social right now. We're practicing talking, and it's amazing, and you're doing such a good job at it too. So I appreciate you for being open and getting to that point where you can like finally just like not care what people think so much, because like we all have different backgrounds, right, and different beliefs, and I think it's good if people lean in with curiosity and understanding and open-mindedness to like welcome people and progress together, right? And I think that's a good thing.
Hmm. And I think people definitely have like their way of conquering their anxiety. I I grew up thinking like I was just gonna be alone. So I think a big reason with having such bad anxiety, it kind of stemmed from the idea where I was like, okay, I don't want to be around anyone. I don't want to talk to anyone. And then I got so used to that feeling of being alone for so long.
Right.
So when I started like interacting with people and getting to know people, I was like, ugh. A big thing that kind of shut that down as well. I met this guy, and I was with him for about 11 years of my life. I knew him since I was little, and he kind of just, I'm not going to go into detail because it's really bad, but he basically kind of beat me down to the point where I felt like I had nothing else in life other than him. Like, I was suffering with it so bad to the point that my mom, like, every time I tried talking to her about it, she'd be like, okay, Catherine, you've been talking about it way too long. You just need to learn to get rid of the guy. But it's like when I feel like I only have one person left and then I would be alone, I'm like, you can treat me like dirt. You can treat me so bad as long as it means I can still be around you, then I'll go through it. I was like that low.
Yeah.
So after I left him, um, I of course kind of hit the dumps for a bit. But then I met a new guy, and I'm with him right now. And honestly, he has fully changed my perspective, not only on myself, but just love in general. I'm as happy as I can be right now. He is as well. We're kind of just at that point where he kind of has the same perspective as me. I mean, I've tried talking to him about like my beliefs and shit. Um, he thinks it's all bullshit, and that's fine. He told me he's like you can follow what you follow, that's fine, whatever. He isn't Christian or anything like that. He's more agnostic more than anything. But
Yeah.
I remember talking to him about it, and I was like, "Hey, this is what my family believes, and this is what I believe." And he was like, "Good for you, hon. It's great." I was like, "Yeah," but no, I am at a comfortable spot in life, and I couldn't be
Good.
more grateful.
Good. Good. Yes. Good thing you got out of that abusive relationship. That's. I'm sorry you had to go through that in the first place, right? Like being in that
Mm.
position where like it's hard to like leave because you don't want to be alone.
Mm.
I can't imagine. I've not been in that situation, but I can try to understand it in a sense that being very difficult. Um, but it's good that you found this new guy, and it sounds like well, it does sound like you guys are good for each other because I was gonna say like you're worthy of love and who you are as a person. I think is from what you've shown is good, and I think yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say, Brady, but I'm gonna end it right there.
You know, I think everyone's piece can be both expressed or kind of exposed in silence. I think, I mean, obviously, the dopamine of finally realizing you're okay and happy is a good feeling. But I think for me, it was rather one day I woke up and just kind of turned the switch off without me, like, just subconsciously turning it off and not really realizing I did it.
Hmm.
And that's also the reason I started talking to people on here, mainly religious folks.
Hmm.
One, I'm just naturally a troll. I'm crazy with it. So I would go
What's
around just really just messing with people. Um, and there came a day where one of them really did tap me. Like they got to me. Like they made me scratch my head a bit, and I was like, guys, I've spoken to religious people for years. I've spoken to people that have beliefs that differ from mine for years. Never once have I been this curious. I started coming around more, and the reason why this whole thing happened, and the reason I'm upset right now, is I have a history with Christianity that dates back about 7 years, and it's not a bright history, obviously.
Okay.
Their conclusion on me was that I've been exposed for so long to the faith. And they tell me things like, I'm simply blocking out God and not receiving Him. And the thing that I love about myself so much is that I'm a very nosy catty bitch. So I can speak to people on, like I'm speaking to you on a mobile device, but I have a great PC in front of me that I can also use the same TikTok account on. So I was going around listening to people in the mutual group, and just earlier today, I caught them talking about me, and they were saying like, "She's over there, she can't hear." And then I typed in, "I'm like, I'm here too." And then they basically just, I guess, bursted out of the shell, and they were telling me like things, saying, "You've been exposed to the faith for so many years, and you deny it, and you won't lean into it. We've given you countless scriptures regarding your life and how God can make it better, but you just won't give in." So I basically just kind of typed something and I left it there. I said, "So because I don't fold for your religion when I'm in my current stance in life, and because you have so many scriptures that relate to what I'm going through, you basically expect me to drop everything I know, drop everything I love." They even called my boyfriend a demon because they called him a fornicator, because obviously we're not married, but we do things.
Right.
They called him a fornicator. They said that he's a distraction from Satan to tempt me. All these terrible things. I'm like, just because I didn't drop what my life is for the sake of something that I don't believe in, and coming from people I genuinely cared about because I've known you guys for so long and you've known me for so long, I get this treatment. And I'm
Right.
like, I was over here talking with all the other people, and I'm like, I really appreciate you guys. Like, you guys are the first Christians in my life that really give me a different perspective. I was like, after all that, I was wrong, and you're still the same kind of people I've been dealing with for years. Nothing's different.
Right.
And they were like, you know what? You can look at it how you want. I got called a monitoring spirit. I still don't know what that means, but I got called a monitoring spirit. And
Monitoring
then,
spirit.
yeah, a monitoring spirit. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to search for that. Monitoring spirit. Oh,
Oh, it's interesting.
monitoring. A monitoring spirit is considered a spiritual entity that observes, tracks, and obstructs a believer's spiritual progress. There we go.
And you're obstructing a believer's. So like, like they called you that because like you were trying to like convince them differently, or like trying to bring up different points differently.
Not really. I would interact with the points, but like if I was ever silent, because typically when they speak to other believers that may have a different doctrine or set of beliefs, or if they just talk to a person that subscribes to a different religion, period, I would typically be muted with music blasting in my house and I'd be drinking. That's about it. I wouldn't really try to be a distraction. I'd kind of just let them do their thing, and whenever the conversation's over, I'll jump back in. So, no, I wouldn't really say I distracted much.
Yeah, and you said you knew these people for a long time, or like, what was
Oh, yeah, a very long time.
what was that?
A very long time.
A very long time, like years. You're speaking, or
I'd say a good maybe like 2.5 years. So.
whoa, dang.
Yeah.
So like they probably like knew a lot about your life, I'm assuming, and then just like kind
Oh,
of
yeah, they know me head to toe.
damn. Um, I'm sorry. So that's the thing that happened. I'm assuming today that made you feel kind of down in the dumps.
Them speaking about me behind my back was a little earlier in the morning, but the thing that kind of sent me over, I told them this when I first met them, and obviously I proved that I meant that today. I said, if any of you guys make my sister an example, if you use her as a weapon to rationalize the idea of me entering the faith, if you mention her at all outside of your condolences, I will not speak to you, because that's something that has put, a dagger in my heart when it comes to faith in general. Because my little sister was the only one that tried escaping the belief that my family has. And, I even told them, I'm like, such a loving God you serve, because they also believe in predestination. So they believe that God sets out your entire life and forces you to go through what you go through. You don't have any free choice or free will. So I said, your loving God, your all loving God, according to John 3:16, made my sister terrified of her family, terrified of the teaching that we follow, decided to try and escape it and follow your religion, get condemned by a pastor in a church. She was gay. That's the reason she got condemned. Get condemned in a church because she was gay, and then took her life about a month later. Your God made her do that? And those people confidently told me yes. So I was like, such a loving God.
Jeez. Um,
So
that's
that's kind of
I'm
just how it goes.
again. I'm so sorry that you've had to go through that. That's terrible, and I'm so sorry that that happened. But it's interesting when it comes to like, were these people Christian?
Yeah, they were.
That's
There were a
interesting.
few people that were Baptists, and they were non-denominational, and they were Calvinists.
I didn't know a lot of I didn't know Christians believed in predetermination, or like the Christians I have witnessed like believe they have free will, right? I never knew
Mhm.
that some Christians believed in but it makes sense if the God's all knowing, right? I guess, but that's terrible that they said that. I'm sorry.
I think the more logical explanation, at least according to the scripture, I've read the book over 3 times. I think the logical thing is God. He has all omniproperties. He's almighty. He has no limit. So if he has no limit, he knows how your life will end. He knows the ending, but he sets up two pathways for you. One, you go after him. Two, you go after something else. Because according to Joshua 24:15, it's basically God saying, all right, I've had enough with your sin. Pick who you serve today. So it's clearly God giving you a decision in what you want to serve, what you want to follow.
Mm.
And I asked them for their opinion on that scripture. They would not answer me for the life of them. So it was a whole thing.
Usually when people bring up predetermination, like it's an uncomfortable kind of like feelings, like so we don't have control, like what's like, and it makes situations like what you said with your sister like seem just kind of unnecessary in a sense, like because like it's like what kind of good God would set up a situation where like so many people are gonna be unnecessarily like suffer in a way that for some reason is a benefit, perhaps like for other people to like learn or become better, like people have to like justify like why that is the case in the first place. And I'm still kind
Their
of working through that.
their defense against that, their number one, at least what they told me, they basically told me, because according to the Old Testament, God was fucking everywhere. Like, this dude made his presence known every fucking where. You step 2 steps, God's watching you, type shit.
Right.
So they say that in the Old Testament, God pretty much was testing humanity and basically driving them through how the law is going to be and how it's going to work. And then towards the New Testament, when Christ ascended, they tell me that a teacher doesn't talk during a test. So this whole analogy works in theory and concept, but where it gets really fucked up is, why is God letting children die every day from war, from starvation? Why are kids born with cancer? And then they say, oh, that's man made sickness. Why does God let children that have no choice but to be born with it?
Right.
And the
Right.
question just doesn't get answered.
I think if like yeah, because like if it gets like for people who define their God that way, like they're kind of trapped into saying like, well, it's necessary in some way, right? But I would like say like with the God, I like if I don't even think my God, how I would describe him, is all good in a sense with like, or like it's almost impossible to, because how do I phrase this? So I in some ways believe in predetermination, like scientific determination or predetermination, because it helps me like psychologically just like be like without worrying so much about how I'm gonna come like what am I saying right now? I don't even know. I'm just talking, and who knows where I'm gonna end talking about this, and it psychologically helps how I think. But there is a problem, like what you mentioned, with how all this unnecessary suffering happens in the first place. Like this person was just born to die at an early age, or born to suffer, and um, it's a problem definitely. And I think if I'm going to define my God, they can't be all good in that sense, or maybe there must be another reason behind it, and that's where like justification gets kind of hairy in a sense, because like if my life is going on this path and someone else's life is going on a different path that's in a negative way, that's out of their control, then what the fuck is that God doing? And so this is why I don't. That's why I lean agnostic, but lean spiritually, because for me, it makes sense for me in my own brain. But like telling other people that like God is predetermined everything, it gets a bit messy. So I don't know how to handle that.
I think what you said is great. I think if Christians could concede one thing, I think it would make their religion. uh, I mean, I won't say justifiable because again, the actions are terrible coming from God, but it would at least be more understandable, and they wouldn't be so fucking brainwashed if they can concede the fact that God can be evil.
Right.
I think it's impossible for an all good being to not desire evil. And it even says in Isaiah 45, verse 7, verbatim, I create darkness and create evil. This is God saying this. But, you know, we don't follow the Old Testament type deal, so you can't go down that road with them.
Right. Right.
And that's why I feel so at peace with my belief. Um, Obviously, what I'm about to say to you might sound crazy because you're agnostic, but my grandmother, she was the one person in my family that frequently practiced witchcraft, and there's a thing called I forget what they're fucking called, but they're these two little rods, and you basically use them to communicate with the dead. And she used these, and she asked questions, and I would pay attention to her hand movement. I would pay attention if the AC was on, if there was a little gust of air or anything of such. I never felt it. I never saw her twiddling with anything, and she would get straight answers from the dead. Typically, they were associated with vampires, things like that. She even let me try it one time. I was little, so I asked stupid questions. I was like, "Are vampires pure white? Do they have no skin color?
Nice. Nice.
Do vampires' eyes glow red in the dark? Are vampire fangs 12 inches fucking long?" Things like that. And I wouldn't really get straight answers. But as
Right.
I got older, when I hit like maybe 14, 15, I tried it again and I asked more logical questions and I got more logical answers. And those are the kinds of things that, I mean, the whole, like, even if it's real or not, the idea of contacting a ghost is really fucking freaky.
Mm-hmm.
But being able to, the idea that wherever these spirits may be, or wherever these spirits are located, it's good to know, like, there's been times where I asked the question, are you in peace? Are you happy? Are you suffering? And based on answers, these spirits, they're fine and they're in peace and they couldn't be happier. And that brings me an inner peace because
Good.
I feel like death is one of the most feared things in humanity. But the idea of it not being the end and then being able to be happy in an afterlife, I think that's a beautiful thing. If I can get bitten before I die, and I turn into an immortal that just needs to suck blood once a week to live, and I'm fucking hell yeah.
All
But
right.
it's
All
like
right.
if that's not the case and I die, at least I can find a peace.
So do you think what happens after you die? You think?
I think it comes down to it's ideally kind of like Christianity. I think it comes down to a moral decision what happens to you, but I think the default standard that's most plausible is most likely just a spiritual version of what we live and see already.
So like heaven and hell, or just like one place for like
I
the
think I think hell is meant for the absolute worst of the worst. I don't think hell is meant for those that may not have believed in an almighty, and since they didn't believe in that almighty, that's where they go.
Yeah.
I don't think salvation is a thing, honestly. I think people will go to hell like if you're Hitler bad, but like if, you were a bad person in life and you were evilly driven, then I think, you just being a really negative spirit in the afterlife is possible. But I think, like, just an overall spiritual version of what me and you experience every day is obviously with the perks of being able to with a certain amount of energy, make yourself known, or being able to speak with a living human that is gifted, perhaps. I think the spiritual world is most possible.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about it. I mean, well, it'd be nice to think about there would be an afterlife, right? But I don't know
Mm-hmm.
for sure. But I almost imagine like maybe the people who missed the mark and didn't quite make it, like they're remembered in a way where it's like a joke in a sense, where it's like
Mm-hmm.
I see you, but like come out wherever you are, Mr. Trump. I don't know what I'm talking about, but like maybe we use them as advertisements too. Maybe we put Trump on a penny and on all the pennies, and we don't use pennies at all. We just carry them in our pockets to remind us ourselves like what not to be, right? and
Yeah.
I don't like. I think we can get very creative with remembering the bad people, but and I'm bipolar, and in mania, it's almost obvious that there's a God, and one of my thoughts, and I still hold to it, is we all go up, and you can take that subjectively however you need, but like I believe there's a way to
Mm-hmm.
make everyone like live together. Like I imagined sometime in the past or whenever, I don't know how many times this has happened, but like perhaps we were all like in unity or like in accord or in harmony, right? And maybe we were all divine. Maybe we were just humans. Who knows? But we were something, and we were all collectively one. But then we decided to collectively together like fragment out to be whatever this has developed with evolution, and I believe in evolution to get to where we are
Mm-hmm.
now with humans, and who knows how far down this goes, and but to know that in the future we're going to come back together as one again, and I think it's a beautiful idea, and this is why I think like predestination can be plausible at least for me, and even though it sounds shitty, but like with maybe like to get back to where we were before, like the chaos was needed in a sense to help us understand what not to repeat in the future. Like we can see something bad, and we can not repeat that, but that's easier said than done, right? But I think it's the more we make, how can I phrase this? Like having dialogues like this is important, right? Or like modeling this out, and we can talk about these ideas vulnerably is one step, right? But just being for other people in a way for them to believe in themselves, and like I think that's what we ought to do is like believe in other people, right? And validate them and like pull them up with us, and 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 I'm just rambling, but that's kind of where my brain's going.
I'm picking up what you're putting down, don't worry.
Right, right.
I think me and you do hold a similar common belief, and that belief would be that there is a potential peace waiting. Obviously, like according to your belief, I think it's, for example, how it could go. It could just be a rounding number, like as people die and people lose their lives. It could just be one, obviously not room, but a realm, a place where people are waiting, returning to what we were before what we were now. And whenever that final number goes up, then it could be like a big restart, or that could be eternity. I think the thing about spirituality, and my grandmother, as much as people hated her for being a witch, that woman was very wise. She told me that when it comes to witchcraft, um, witchcraft is literally the saying, "Don't judge a book by its cover." Obviously, you hear of witchcraft, you think of evil people, you think of voodoo, you think evil spells, you think harm. But when it comes down to what it can be, it can be peace, it can be hope. Witchcraft isn't all spell books and, curses. There's different elements. And I feel like my grandmother was kind of in the middle. She told me when it comes to the spiritual afterlife, nobody knows. Nobody's going to know as long as they're living. We're never going to know until we die. And believing in that spiritual realm and believing that death isn't the end, it calms that idea of a spirit inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
Because me personally, when I think of anxiety, if I think of being anxious, I don't think that's my heart being anxious. I think that's whatever the greater element of me is inside me. I think that's what's freaking out.
That's
So the
interesting.
idea, yeah, the idea of something coming after, the idea that that is not the end and you're just jumping onto the next platform, if you will. There's something that comes after. And she told me that is what the piece of spirituality is, that it isn't the end when you die and there's no reason to fear it.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it can bring comfort, definitely, and just help emotionally regulate ourselves and like I said, for comfort. But I wonder too, like, but the mind and the body and the soul, like, there's such a powerful thing, and I almost wonder at times if we abstract something, if we, like, say for instance, if we believe there's an afterlife, and if we truly believe that as an individual, what if that comes true for the individual because they believe in it so much, right? And it almost takes it to another level with, like, if we collectively believe in a god, like, what does that mean? Like, if we collectively believe a god's genocidal, does that come true? and uh,
Mm-hmm.
and like, maybe this is why, like, I think it's important to talk about, like, what God means for each of us, so we can you know find an understanding between all of us what that can be, right? And I think it's possible, but, like, what if that's the case, where, like, what we actualize in our brains and abstract out becomes reality in another spiritual realm.
Yeah, exactly. That is not exactly tackling it, but it's a branch of what I hold to myself and what I told myself is what I'm always going to do. One thing I'm never going to do ever. Obviously, you can tell clearly that my family believes in an afterlife. So since we believe in an afterlife, there can be danger that comes with it. There can be good. My mom is hell bent on achieving immortality or her eternity as quickly as she can. Now, I think that is a dangerous game. The reason I think it's a dangerous game is one, even though she may be older, she's in her mid 50s. I think there's still more that is yet to discover. I think there is more that she can learn before she tries to tackle this great idea. When it comes to my grandmother was all about contacting past relatives. My grandmother even tried contacting the person that started it all in my bloodline with vampirism, and that was back in the 1400s.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I will never do is try to contact her because, one, if this spiritual realm is real, if I get an answer from her, I'm going to freak the fuck out. And then if I try to contact her and nothing happens, I'm gonna doubt my belief, and I don't want to do that. So
Right,
it's
right.
a game of I hear from her and I freak the fuck out, or I try to and it doesn't work. One thing my grandmother did really want when she passed. This was in 2019. When she passed, she wanted to be buried in New Orleans. Now the reason for this I'll explain. But growing up, my family originated from Bulgaria and Romania. And then when we came to the States, we went to Chicago. And she passed while we were in Chicago. So then we transported her from Chicago down to New Orleans. The reason in New Orleans, and this is where I live now, I visit her grave almost every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I live here and why she wanted to be buried here, New Orleans is very infamous to be believed that this is where most vampires live. This is where, they come out at night and they do their thing. Now, I think she didn't do it out of a literal sense. I think she did it because she knows that this city is home, or one of the many homes to our tradition, and she wanted to lay rest at that area. She has I forget what it's called. It's basically a monument, or not monument. It's one of those above ground graves where you open the fucking doors and you can like stack caskets on shelves.
Oh,
Basically,
whoa.
it's meant, yeah, it's basically meant for just my family. And there's already, I think it goes into the ground. Under her, there's like four more caskets.
Oh,
We don't know
okay.
where the first ancestors of my family are because obviously they didn't have that idea back then. They kind of just died and, it happened.
Right.
Because burials were popular back then, but there was never any like designated graveyard. So we don't know where they are. But my great 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 grandmother started it, and it's basically where my entire bloodline will be buried. I'm pretty, unless something changes, I'm confident my bloodline will end with me. I don't plan on having kids.
Yeah.
So it's where I think it'll end. But it also contradicts, and this is where the stress comes in. My mom told me in her vision, she sees me as a vampire and I bite her and I pretty much restart a coven. But she said that this happens after I have children. So that directly contradicts with what I want with my life.
Right.
But then on the other hand, my boyfriend has told me countless times if he wants, like, if me and him last and we do stay together, he wants kids. And I told him I'll respect any wish. So that kind of leans into the idea that she's planting. And it's not something that I don't want. If me and him do last and he is the love of my life, I hope he is,
Right.
I wouldn't mind giving that to him because I want to respect his wishes too. I don't mind raising kids. It's fine.
So, okay, so
It's
yeah, I was
just
gonna
something I
ask,
wouldn't.
yeah. So you'd compromise for having kids.
Essentially, my personal life wishes would be compromised, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't mind doing it.
Okay, I was gonna say because like if you like were like firm belief like no you didn't want any kids at all like I would say stand for that but like of course if you're willing to like lean in with compromising I think whatever works best for you but also when it comes I was gonna say when it comes to like contacting and your great grandma or your grandma either one
My
and not
grandma.
doing that like that's your journey right and I think it's understandable like if you like whatever you choose it's okay and it sounds like what you are choosing to do is good for you and um yeah so um I appreciate you for being just all vulnerable just sharing all this information too and it's been really interesting just to listen to but I'm probably going to get off for the night but if you have any last comments or want to say something different something else but you're welcome on in the future too if you want to hop on when you see me.
Yeah, for sure. The last thing I'll bring up is kind of just a conclusion of where I come from. Now, quick question: have you ever watched a show called The Vampire Diaries?
It sounds familiar, but I'm gonna look it up. The Vampire Diaries. Vampire Diaries. Let's see. Is this with that girl from Scooby Doo? No. I'm thinking about Bucky, the vampire. Maybe. I have never seen this.
Okay, so the show is a adaptation based on modern vampire folklore, which
Okay.
is basically what my family believed in. For example, the woman in my photo is the woman, a vampire from the show. Now, the reason she's so significant, there was a woman back in the 1400s who basically was just extremely bloodlusted, and she was very violent to the point where local villagers believed that she was a vampire, and her name was Catherine Pierce.
Oh wow.
And um, in translation, because she was from Bulgaria, I'm from Bulgaria. Her name was Katerina Petrova. So my bloodline's last name is also Pierce, or back then it was Petrova.
Okay.
So my mom basically named me Catherine to kind of fulfill that idea of reincarnation. It's fucking crazy. But that's
Whoa.
the reason I was doing that. So that's kind of like the reason why I'm raised in what I'm raised in, because she firmly believes I am this woman that came back to basically just fuck with the world, essentially. And it's
That's
so,
ooh.
yeah.
Look, I think things like look if it goes into what we how do I phrase this, Brady? Um, hmm. Believe like what you are, right? And who you are is a person that's not going to bite your mom's neck, right? I would hope so, at least, right? Like
Yes.
like you know yourself well enough to the point where if you do have kids and the prophecy happens and if you find yourself having
I promised myself
taking
that
this
if they were real, if vampires are real, and I do become one, I promised myself already, and I told her I will not do it.
yeah
So it's even in the hypothetical that it is real, it's not gonna happen.
and you know yourself better, right? And I'm not trying to downplay your mom's prophecies at all, but like I think I think you even like you realize it too because you said it can become dangerous when it comes to the prophecies. So you realize it and you know that.
Yeah.
Um, you like I said, you know yourself the best out of anyone,
Mhm.
and your life is your life, and no one can say any differently or take that away from you. So I hope you carry that forward in your life and keep being awesome because I appreciate you coming up for one. And I was in a negative mindset, and it was just good talking to a good person tonight. So I
Yeah,
appreciate you just being
absolutely.
on.
My closing statement, honestly, look, it's a very outworldly thing. It isn't every day you come across a girl that believes in vampires. I obviously have my moral compass, and I explained this to her. Even my grandmother told me that she claimed that she saw the same thing about me, and I told her, I'm like, look, if this is real, if you know this happens and it comes true, and it's not us just being crazy, I will not bite my mother. I will not bite my who is suspected to be husband. I will not bite my children. I will not bite anyone as long as it relies on my survivability and I have options that is outside of my family. And that's something that I'm sticking by. Obviously, to you, I want to let you know I feel the same way. Man, I've been drinking for the last 3.5 hours straight fucking bourbon with nothing
Are
else.
you okay?
My
How you feeling?
I'm okay. I'm okay, right? But I just needed it. But look, I came up here with the intent of saying something really fucking stupid and then just dipping. But I don't know what it was. I think it's the way you asked me how am I doing, and I was like, man, I'm not doing all right.
Uh,
So I was like, I'm just gonna have a conversation with it.
Well, I'm glad that you decided to actually talk and engage because it's been an interesting conversation and like I said again, it's been nice just having good people come up tonight because like it's been a couple of days and a couple of days before that and I haven't been doing it too consistently since last week and I've been just in my head and it's good just to have people to talk to and like obviously I'm not working through that in real time with you right now, but just like having a positive experience with a person is needed. And so I do appreciate that tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I if you ever come up again, I'll definitely come around. I want to thank you personally because typically when I do have conversations with people about my beliefs, I'm either told, girl, that's folklore, get out of that, that's stupid, or I'm called a demon. So I do appreciate the questions and the statements. I'm glad that you were able to relate to me in the sense of choice making. It definitely reassures me about my moral code. So yeah, you're a great person, and I appreciate you.
You're great too. Sorry, I appreciate you coming up, and I hope you have a good rest of your night.
You as well. Good night.
All right, take care. Bye bye. All right, guys. thanks for hanging in there. There's a couple people watching with us. I hope you guys have been enjoying it. But I'm gonna end it tonight, and we'll see about tomorrow how I feel. But sometime definitely this week, I'll be back on again. But you guys have a good rest of your night, and till next time.